All right, boys, now that I've done my review of the game and that I've beaten it on the hardest difficulty level, I figured that I would do a top tips to success in Lost in Random the Eternal Die. It is a very brief summary, a very quick listicle of things that I think are really important to grasp early on. So hey, without further ado, let's just jump into it. Tip number one, once you get to the home base, you will unlock Rack right here soon enough. And basically, he's the weapons master. He's going to give you access to all the weapons of the game that you will be able to unlock. Now, what I would recommend first in terms of unlocking, you should unlock as quickly as possible the last sort of Sextopia tree, which is basically the health region tree. So every time you kill a certain amount of enemies, you will regen health. It also increases the potency of your elixirs, as well as give you some heals if you kill an enemy on a 6 roll die. So that's gonna be great for longevity in deeper runs. Tip number two. Now again with rack, you're going once you get comfortable with um, the monsters and the bosses, and you're a little bit more secure in your approach of the game. I would recommend you go towards the mace and you unlock either the Call of the Swamp, the Toxin Tree, the Poison Tree, which looks like this. So basically, it leaves a pool of poison that lasts for quite a while, and at quite a distance, in a way that really sets monsters up for some nice poison builds. Or otherwise, I would recommend the Steel Focus Tree. So basically, it reduces all damage taken while powering up a charge attack, and it gives you 4% evade, which with other sources of evade you'll find uh, becomes really powerful, as well as grants one last chance when receiving what would be a killing blow. So this is really, really good. As you'll see, the charge attack is really far. So that really gives you some impressive distance, and it really hits hard. So I would recommend going towards the mace once you got a little bit more comfortable with the mechanics of the game and the monsters attack pattern. Third tip would be to start upgrading your blessings once you get a little bit of pips going, the blue gems resources. And basically, all of these will be locked out. You'll need to spend a certain amount of pips in each rows before the next one unlocks. So, first, I would recommend that you invest in healthy investments first, because it will increase the amount of max health granted by the Shard of Vitality, and you'll get a lot of them throughout a playthrough. So, you really will get a good pool of added HP. So 3 shards would basically give you 1 free shard. So it's a 3 for 1 kind of deal. As here, increase all attack damage against regular full 30%. So you can only choose between one of the two bonuses, and I'm recommending the healthy investment here first, as well as the fearful flows, because you'll fight much more enemies that are slated to be regular foes rather than bosses. Bosses, once you start to get builds going, they will go down no matter what. Whereas you need to start mowing down regular foes uh, very early on if you hope to go deep into a run. So those are the two that you should focus on first on the first row. And then once you have access to the second row, you need to start the mending wound. So regain some health after each completed encounter. When it's maxed out, you regain 6 on each completed encounter, which is tremendous. And then as soon as that's done, you need to go to repelling revivals, which will revive you twice when it's maxed out. It will revive you twice with a significant health and reduce damage for the rest of the encounter. So if you die on a boss, after that, the boss will hit you for far less. Then, as soon as you focused on your survivability, with through mending wound and repelling revivals, you'll want to go on the third row where you'll have eluding waves. So dashing temporarily increases the chance to evade all incoming damage. At max, it's going to give you 30% damage evade, so complete negates. You want that because you will be dashing around a lot, and basically, depending on the build that you focus on, you could be pretty much evading 50% of damage, incoming damage. Then after that's done, you're gonna go towards deadly discount. And when you defeat Mare's high servants, you earn a discount in every shop. So at ultimately it goes up to 25% discount on every item at the end of a run, which is incredible. It starts at 10, then 20, then 25. So that's what you'll want to have. And you'll finally go towards shared burden, which is basically a added evade. So if you have the dash, which gives you 30%, and then this, which gives you ultimately 3, and with the mace that gives you ultimately 4, you're already at 37 flat out of the gates, just getting into a run, which is very, very, very. Now, though, you'll want the rewarding recycling on the last row, as well as the painless lesson. But I would say that these are not a priority. Um, what you should focus on first in these is the rewarding recycling. So basically, it is more money when you don't use a power up or a buff. Basically, instead of giving you 25 um, gold, you will get 50 when you recycle powers, and you will be recycling a fair bit of them. At the end of a run, you'll have a good set of powers that are synergizing together, and you'll have a good build going, and you'll be less and less enticed to crush or replace some powers. So you'll benefit a lot more from getting a lot more money, so you'll be able to buy more dyes as well as um, increased health. So basically, health shards. This will save you one hit on every encounter. So at the end of it all, I'd say it's a very nice thing to grab, but that shouldn't be a priority. It's very pricey. If I'm not mistaken, 750 pips just for that. So do be wary of that. Fourth advice here. Now, when you look at the power grid or the upgrade grid, first you need to put a power in the middle when you start a run. You need to put a power in the middle to unlock the next layer, if you will. And then you'll need to put a power in the diagonals to unlock these two. So the far out corners. So what I would recommend first, when you start, do a line. So you put middle, then top left and bottom right, or bottom right and top left. It's up to you. But do unlock a diagonal first, so you have access to the whole grid. And then what I would recommend, every time you do a line of 3 same colored powers, you'll gain a 50% buff on any of these categories. If it's 3 reds, you'll get a 50% on weapon. If it's 3 oranges, you'll get a 50% on card attacks. If it's 3 blues, it's 50 dice, and so on. So what you'll want to do as much as possible is to do combos. So if, let's say, you put 2 blues, 2 blues, 2 blues, and 2 blues. So and at the end you cap it all off by adding a die or a blue power in the middle, replacing your first power that you got. You will gain 200% buff for the equivalent of 9 powers. Whereas if you do it by increments of 50%, which is 3 at a time, you'll require 12 to buff up. So if you can combine uh, as many birds as possible, then you'll save a lot, and you'll get to grow a lot stronger in power, and you'll save a lot of required buffs to get there. And it's also an achievement. If you do a 9, like a plus, if you do a 9 tile power up, that gives you 200%. That's an achievement too. So if you can combine at least 5, 7, or 9, that's even better. So whenever you strategize your grid, strategize according to making it so that you can farm more percentage with the least amount of power ups possible. Tip number 5, you do not have to unlock the color on a power for it to be accessible or to be yours. So when you place a power on the grid, no matter the colors left on it, if any, it is active and it is yours to benefit from. So the colors are just for the bonus on the on either the weapon, the cards, the dice, conjurations, or luck. That's it. Once a power is placed on the grid, it's yours. Tip number 6, luck is an absolute beast of a stat. It is basically added percentage on every what is considered to be a luck roll. So let's say your crit chance. Let's say you start flat out with a 50% crit chance and you add luck throughout the run. Let's say you add a 9 or 12 luck throughout the run. That will be added on top of your default value. So you will start critting a fourth of the time. Or if you have conjurations, things that will summon themselves through actions of your own, whether it's through throwing the dice, you will send out a gust of wind, or there's a certain percentage of a gust of wind that will come out of every weapon attack. There's powers like that in the game. So it adds a percentage of multicast, which is basically it will cast it twice. So your luck will affect every multicast ability, every crit, every evade, rarity of buffs that you'll get. Luck affects it all. So you'll want, if you can, to focus on luck as early as possible. It is not, it's not a problem if you don't get to have any luck during a run. I've had many successful runs without luck, but it is an extremely good power to upgrade. And it basically every 3 greens gives you 3% luck. So if you do 3, so if you do, let's say, a big plus of greens, you'll get 12 for the cost of 9. So that's very, very, very good to have. And 12 luck means that you'll multicast a ton. That I've been there with 12, 15, and it goes crazy. The crits, the multicast, all of it goes really, really, really hard. Now, 7th tip, as a rule of thumb, whenever you are offered between 2 rewards after clearing an encounter, you always have to go for what is the better value. So most of the time, you'll be offered a bag of gold, which is 75 gold, or let's say, for instance, a health shard that gives you increased extra HP for the duration of the run. That is at the shop worth 100 gold. So always go for that. Always go for the pricier item because it gives you the leeway to, with the amount of gold that you have, to adapt on the fly based on your urgent needs. 8th tip. Now, when you're at the end of a run, you have added a power on every square in your grid. and you've sucked all the colors of all the powers, meaning that you've buffed up your build, and you have some added percentage in a lot of these categories. Now the problem is that if you want to continue to buff up, you're gonna have to either crush powers, so meaning erase current ongoing powers to the benefit of new ones with fresh colors, or ideally, what you want to find throughout the runs and what you want to prioritize is inkwells. So as you go through the game, you'll find inkwells. There is one in every shop starting at round two, and you'll want to prioritize these as those recolors current tiles that you already have powers on. And whenever you take an inkwell, you'll get a choice between three colors. So you're not guaranteed to get what you need, but you'll have a shot at getting something that you will be able to make use of. And so that way, you can strategically recolors or add a color to an ongoing power. And so that it will help you do combos. So now you've beaten a run, and at the entrance of the mysterious portal will appear a stone which is called the Sigils of Misfortune. And those are essentially your new game pluses or your handicap levels. And basically, what it means is that the realms will become increasingly more difficult. And basically, for each level, the boss of that realm will be stronger. So basically, here on level one, only the first bosses will become stronger and have more attack patterns. And here, the first two bosses, and here, the first three bosses, and here, all the bosses. Also, as you start a run on these added difficulty levels, you'll have to choose a debuff. When you enter a realm, every time you enter a realm, you will have to make a choice of debuffs. Always go for the debuffs that are not on a timer. There is, it's very hard to have a very hard hitting build that will make it so that you never go above the allotted time. And so the debuffs that are on a timer are essentially lose HP every X second after being in an encounter for X amount of time. Always avoid those as much as possible. It will be very rare where you'll have a build that hits so hard that you'll be able to clear those rooms and those encounters quickly enough. So avoid these at all costs. So here it is, boys. These were the 9 best tips I could muster to help you hopefully achieve success in Lost in Random the Eternal Die. It is a very fun 80s clone. I had a blast with it. And hopefully, those tips will help you master the game as efficiently and as quickly as possible and extract the most value out of it as soon as possible. All right, boys, it was a pleasure. Hope you have a great time with this game. I had a blast, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.